Her husband is here with her this morning, so give him a round of applause, because it's not easy on spouses for political leaders. I'm blessed my wife puts up with me. I know Donovan and Clyde and Alicia would say the same thing. Without our families, we are nothing. So I want to thank him for being with us today. But without further ado, I'm going to turn the mic back over to Megan so she can have our governor and the person that wants to be the next governor of the state of New York, Kathy Hochul.
Come on, let's stand on our feet and receive our own next governor, Kathy Hochul, as she comes in this manner. Come on, you can come to the stage. Amen.
Good morning, church. As you heard from the Reverend, this is indeed the day the Lord has made. And he brought us here together for one purpose, to give him glory and to make sure that we feel his presence, especially on Pentecostal Sunday, in our lives every single day. So I'm honored to be here, Reverend Beecham, and I'm happy to see you. But as a mom, I love the mom. So let's have another round of applause for the mother who made it all happen, Mother Beecham. Mother Beecham, take credit for him, because when the kids sometimes screw up, they blame the mom. You celebrate his success, and you own that. Congratulations to you for raising such a spiritual leader that this community has needed and has relied upon through some very challenging years, especially with this pandemic. So I thank you for having the passion, answering the call to serve in the way that you have, but also being so involved in the community with food distribution and Bible study to help feed the souls as well as the body, connecting neighbors to resources and programs like Empower the Mother. This is an incredibly impactful church, and I know that the power of this church goes way beyond what happens here on a Sunday. It penetrates the community 7 days a week, and for that I'm so grateful. I'm also grateful for the elected officials that you have all had the wisdom to send to office. This is because of the voters selecting the individuals in this front row that you have a powerhouse of representation in this borough, particularly Borough President Donovan Richards, who's been an ally and friend of mine the entire 8 years I've been Lieutenant Governor, but also up in Albany. And if they look a little tired, they literally just finished up hours ago, marathon sessions, but they passed a record 1,000 pieces of legislation. Well, that's good that they're done, but now I have to read them all and decide if I'm going to sign them. So have a little sympathy for me now, but great leaders like you heard from Senator Comrie. He's been at my side and a friend for such a long time, and I really rely on his guidance, and he has recommended some of the finest public servants, people like Hope Knight, who leads the first woman of color to lead our economic development for the entire state of New York. I mean, I wanted to empower strong women in particular to ascend to these positions where the doors had been closed for far too long. So I have the most diverse representation in an administration, the history of the state of New York. Thank you, Senator Comrie, for your recommendations of some outstanding people, and also our assembly members who really literally finished just a few hours ago, and I want to thank them for Clyde Van Allen and also Alicia Hinman for just being allies of this community so strong. Their voices are powerful in our state capitol, so you never have to worry about that. They make sure I listen to them because they're representing you. So this is an incredible group of people, and I do want to give a shout out. I think I have a little more on Senator Comrie's record, his 32 years. I've been married to the same guy for 38 years, and he's put up with a lot. First, New York's first gentleman, Bill Hochul. Never before has there been a first gentleman, so he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. But I come to you, yes, a spirit of joy of living the word of Christ every day, and I'm also called to serve in my own way as a public servant, but also with a heavy heart, because it was just a few weekends ago where I had to leave everything I was doing and run up to my hometown of Buffalo. And what happened in that community, people going to shop at a place called, and it's called Tops Friendly Markets on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. literally 10 minutes from where Bill and I live. We know that community. Those are our friends. Those are our neighbors. And to know that there are individuals who have such hate in their hearts, and I'm telling you, this comes from someplace. And what they see and learn on social media and become radicalized, and the teachings of hatred like white supremacy and racism and this whole replacement theory, it's taking hold in places it never should be able to. And I'm going to be talking to and holding responsible the social media companies, because why can't they use their influence to be pushing out positive, uplifting stories of resilience and hope for people? So we need to have that conversation, but I can't undo the fact that this person, an 18-year-old, could take that hate in his heart, and he wants to sit in his basement for the rest of his life. God will judge him, that's fine. But when he takes up arms against people, goes into a store and is able to legally buy an assault weapon at age 18, now our legislature and I have to do something about this. We have to do something. We can't be complacent. We can't just sit there and say, well, that's just how it is. We stood up boldly. And literally tomorrow, I plan to join many of my elected officials here in the city of New York and to sign into law the boldest, the nation-leading efforts to combat crime and gun violence across this country. We're going to sign them in the law this time tomorrow, because I have had enough, our communities have had enough, and our future generations, our children, who should be able to go to school in a small community in Texas, and their parents don't have to worry about whether that kiss in the morning is the last they're ever going to be able to give that little child. That has to end as well. That is not the world that God entrusted to us. He wants us to change that world and make it better. And we'll do what we can here in the state of New York with many other laws, red flag laws, outlawing body armor. Why can a kid walk into a store and buy body armor that the police officers and the security guards couldn't stop him from slaughtering people because he had body armor on, the type you wear on a battlefield in Afghanistan? That's no longer going to be legal here in the state of New York either. We'll keep fighting the good fight. We'll do that here in New York. But what about the rest of the country? Where is the leadership that we're looking for, that we're begging for? Because the rights to own a gun should not be more powerful than your right to stay alive, right? Am I true about that? Is that right? Is that true? That's the common sense that we know we have here in New York, but I want that to spread. And Washington, I know President Biden wants this to happen. I know our leaders in Congress want this to happen. All the representatives we have here in Queens want this to happen. But, and I won't make this political, but there's another party. Get what I'm saying? There's other people there's the Republicans that are stopping this. Okay, I went there. But that's just a statement of truth. That's just the truth. But I am an optimistic person. I believe that we can start to change the hearts and minds of people. And if not, then they should go to the funerals of the 10-year-olds in Texas. Walk out of that experience and tell me that you won't do everything in your power to protect those babies, those children. But I'm not just talking about the mass casualty murders that happen and get a lot of attention. Okay, we know this. We're all talking about this. But what's happening day after day after day in our streets cannot be ignored either. And that's why we feel that our laws in Albany are going to be strong to protect and make sure we keep gun violence and illegal guns, because they're not made in New York. They're coming from other states. So we're stepping up and saying, don't bring them here because you're going to jail for a long time, because we're protecting our kids here in these neighborhoods in Queens. Yes, but they deserve a right to go to school and stay alive as well. And anybody who tries to bring in an assault weapon or high-capacity magazine where you can gun down people over the border from Pennsylvania, we're going to stop you now, because I've got the state police going to be watching for you as well. I have so much more to say, And I'll come back another time. But I wanted you to know it's in my heart because I've had to turn to God a lot in the last few weeks for strength. Because this has been so painful. As I go back to Buffalo, my neighbors just look at me and say, what can we do? Are we ever going to be okay again? And I have to let them know they are. I mean, President Biden went to Buffalo. Vice President Harris was there as I sat with her a week ago at one of the first funerals. We have the attention of the world, but what we do with it will define us for generations. Did we step up and meet the moment? And I judge myself harshly even in this day because I know history will look at us. And the answer will be yes, we rose to the occasion. The leaders you have in this front row and myself teaming up together on behalf of people and fighting for children and families to stay alive. And our young men on the streets who think the only alternative, the only respect they're going to get is to be part of a gang because that's what their older brother or their cousin did. That's the influence that they have. We have to show them there's a better way out there. And we have tripled the amount of money that goes to community violence disruptor programs where you can have former gang members who come back and say, young people, don't do what I did. Learn from my lesson. Here's a path. Here's a job. Get an education. We believe in you. You can have a better life. That's what we're focused on as well. So in my heart, I know we leave here with God at our side because He's calling on us to lead, but not just lead, but to succeed. We have to get it done. We're not just talking. We're delivering results. And I will come back many more times and talk to you about the other issues that are so important, but this is heavy in my heart today. And I know the Lord heals those with heavy hearts. I turn to Him. And I know the prayers and the thoughts from all of you are so important to me to help lift me up in our jobs and to lift my allies in government up. And I thank you for that. I thank you for not forgetting those of us who serve God in a different way by saying we'll be servants of God, but also servants of the people in elective office. So thank you for the privilege of being your governor. I'm honored. It is the highest privilege of my life. And my parents, who used to live in a trailer park, and Dad worked at a steel plant, and grandchild of very poor Irish immigrants, are the foundation on who I am today. And the opportunities that my family got, I want to make sure those same opportunities are there to lift people out of poverty, lift them out of their circumstances, and give them hope. So maybe their daughter or granddaughter or a young woman like Megan can be a governor of the state of New York as well. Congratulations, Megan. Thank you, everyone.